We talked a little bit about Morrow's game last night, but as a whole, how much progress have you seen from him since that first game up in Montreal to now? He seems to be playing a lot more in control.
Yeah, I think he's been a good player. Even I liked him last year when I saw him in Providence, and the first time I saw him early in the season, I came back and told Peter, I said, this guy has really impressed me, and that's when they said that he's really coming along well. And so he's had a good year in Providence last year, and again, he comes in here in camp, and a guy that has a lot of confidence in himself and doesn't get rattled, and that's a pretty good quality to have, and some guys get rattled, and the tougher he gets, the worse they get. So he doesn't seem to get fazed by much. So it's a good it's a good thing to have as a player. And sometimes with a short-term memory or confidence, and he's been good that way.
Does it help you as a coach, coaching him, to be able to get on him when you have to get on him?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if we get on him, but he's listen, coachable, very coachable, and but at the same time, I like the fact that he's confident, and you like seeing that from a coach. You don't like seeing a player who's afraid to make a mistake. You'd rather see a player go out there and play, and for most of the time, he's making good decisions. I think he's got a good first pass, which is a quality that you need in a defenseman. And, he's a pretty solid individual, too. Doesn't have to run anybody through the boards, but, he's certainly in there in the battles and holding his own. And on a lot of occasions, will come up with a puck.
You like that aggressiveness with the shot, too? It seems like he's not afraid to let it loose, too.
Yeah, I mean, we're talking about a first-rounder here, guys, and so to be a first-rounder, he had to show some pretty good qualities, and so for me, he's got a lot going. His shot is a good shot. He's got a quick release, and like I said, he's not standing there afraid to make a play or a pass, depending on who's out there with him. He doesn't care. He'll do what he thinks is the right play at that time, and some people are intimidated or in awe of certain guys that they've been watching their whole life. He doesn't care. More or less, and I like that attitude.
What's been the one or difference or some differences between the first 5 games of the season and the last 5, rather than getting some players back?
Yeah, that's just it. I mean, it's getting players back. It's giving the guys a chance to get used to playing together. We had different lines. You saw that. A lot of guys that were here in the first 5 that aren't here now, and so on and so forth. So I guess things have just fallen into place with the certain players being in the right spots. And although we've had injuries, we've had some young guys come in, and they've done a good job on the back end. So most of the injuries obviously are in the back end, most of them, and the guys that have replaced them are doing a good job.
Obvious sign of progress from Krejci, him being out there a little bit before the practice.
Today, that's progress to me, and that's a good sign. See him out there, and he felt pretty good. So nice to see that.
Do you see the consistency now starting to come around from a team standpoint?
Yeah. I mean, yesterday was a bit of a tough game, and again, I think when and I mentioned that last night, when our puck movement isn't as good, it really takes away a lot of a big part of our game, because we're a team that when we break out well out of our own end, we get some speed going through the neutral zone. It seems that our offensive game just follows from there. When we don't come out of our own end cleanly, it's almost like we have to struggle through the breakout through the neutral zone and even getting the puck in and retrieving it. So, I think that's the part yesterday that we had a tough time coming out of our own end or getting that part of our game going. At the same time, I thought Florida did a great job, and in rewatching the game, their third man was very patient at taking away some of the great breakout passes we normally could have had, and they squeezed us out pretty quickly after they took that pass away from us. So you got to give them credit too. They played a real strong game as far as minimizing anything that we were trying to do, but the character that we showed just by not letting ourselves get pushed out of the game and continue to battle and winning it in overtime is a credit to our group.
Krejci, is there a chance he'll play tomorrow?
I don't know yet. Today was his first day skating, and again, that the medical part of it is what we have to deal with, and I haven't even gone there yet to ask him how everything's going.
Would it make sense from a management perspective with him?
Pardon me?
Would it make sense from a management perspective with him, since you have the weekend off and more time to rest? Like, maybe just give him that entire time to sort of calm the thing down.
Well, Joe, if he would be ready, I would want him in the lineup. Why set him out a game when he's ready? If he's not, then I guess that weekend would certainly help him because it's more days. So that's what we're going to have to see here. I'm going to talk to our trainers. We'll probably talk again tomorrow morning and see if there's still some doubt. Then he's not going to be playing. But if he's 100%, I don't want him watching the world.
Claude, has Kevin continued to skate since he, Kevin Miller?
I don't know. I didn't pay attention. There were some guys on earlier today. I don't know if he was part of that group, but he should have been. So you guys can check if somebody saw him out there. You guys probably know better than I do.
How do you think Simone Gagne is kind of adjusting to the fourth line, the energy type role? And
You like asking about certain players.
That's
who
my
was
job.
it yesterday? Who was it yesterday?
Riley.
Riley.
Yeah.
It was Riley. Thanks, Simone. They're all in the same
I just
group,
pick him
right?
out of a hat, see? And
There you go. So Simone was the topic today.
Yeah.
I mean, he's like anybody else. I think that fourth line yesterday was very average.
But you see, obviously, like when Danny came here, had scored some goals in Buffalo, but then he kind of found his run. This is a guy who's he's got such a prolific scoring career. Do you see him adjusting to the fact?
I think the fact, Matt, is he's missed a whole year.
Yeah.
So, we put him in that same category as we talked about before Bergeron when he missed a whole year with that concussion. It takes a while. And, I'm going to say it again. I think his skating is coming around pretty good. His hands usually will follow after that. So right now, I don't think his hands are where they should be. But that should follow if he keeps working hard, competing, and he keeps, his skating up to what it should be. I think the first thing that comes back is your skating. The second thing is your hands. And does he have his hands right now? I think we've seen him play enough to know that he's a pretty good playmaker, and he's not quite there yet.
So is your expectation that there'll be a little more scoring from there, or more than just the energy type thing? Or?
Well, no, I think they're very capable
Yeah.
of scoring. What I don't want to see, I think, is when you have that kind of experience on your fourth line, and you look at all those guys, they've been around for a long time. You don't want the other team's fourth line to score on them because we should always be the better line, and we should feel like we're the better line. So those are the things. So when they get scored on, for them, it's a slap in the face, and it should be. So it doesn't mean they can't score. If they want to spend their whole shift in the offensive zone, they're going to get my support on that, no doubt. But I just don't want that puck going in our net, especially when they're playing against other teams' fourth line. When they're really on top of their game, I'll throw them against the other team's top lines any night.
Did you switch the wings last night? Did Simone end up on the left
Oh,
more than
that kind of, believe it or not, that's kind of on their own. There's times where they'll switch. They can both play right and left. So that's to be honest with you, I leave that up to them a lot of times.
Fair for a team like Edmonton. It's like a mystery guest. There's very little history here. And you play them twice a year, and they've been down for a long time.
Well, again, you see, I know they lost last night, but they've been on a pretty good winning streak there. I think they had won 4 in a row there at some point. And, it's just a matter of time. When you have that much talent, I know they've got a few injuries that are key injuries to them, but they're still, considered a young team with a lot of talent, a lot of speed, a lot of skill. And teams that don't respect that end up finding the hard way that what they're up against. So, we've always played them hard. We've always respected all the positive elements that they have on our team, and it served us well. So I think we can't lose I guess the point that that team is going to be a team that's going to come out skating hard tomorrow after losing the game, and knowing that their strength is there, and that we're going to have to really close up the middle of the ice because they do get a lot of speed through the middle, and once they cross that blue line, they're a pretty deadly team. I had to spit that out, guys.
A guy like Louis, it seems like he's providing some of the little things, but the goals just haven't been there yet, or is it just?
Well, I mean, their line scored 2 goals the game before and all that stuff, and you know, yeah, I'd like to see him score as much as he'd like to see himself score. At the end of the night, you know, you got to look at their line and what it does, and sometimes it's other guys scoring, but a lot of times he's part of that scoring chance as well. So maybe he doesn't score 30, 40 goals, but he'll help score that many goals for his line.
Do you think his role's a little different here than in Dallas? He was so
I don't
reliant
really
on
know what his role was in Dallas, to be honest with you. You know, and it doesn't matter to me. To me, is what he brings here, and you know, people, if they view him as a third liner here, to me, that so-called third line was probably one of our best lines at the beginning of the year. So I like to think, you know, our guys our lines are all pretty good, and whichever way they get categorized doesn't matter to me. It's what they do on a nightly basis, and when they're the best line, then they should be out there more than the other ones. So that's how they've been. That's how our lines have been assessed so far.
Thanks, guys. Thank you. Thanks, Coach. 10:30 tomorrow.